I'm looking for clues for my next Try a Chapter challenge. Let's see what I find. Cozy mysteries, that doesn't seem like my wheelhouse. Romantic cozy mysteries? Now you're talking. Hi, my name's Bean. Welcome to my channel. Mama needs to read romance. Cozy mystery romance. Nobody wants to see dark circles like that. Hey there, and welcome to my vlog. I got inspired by Kelly of Kelly Reads a Lot. She was talking about cozy mysteries in one of her videos recently, and I thought, oh, I could do romantic cozy mysteries. How fun would that be? I scoured the internet. I looked at blogs, message boards, trying to find the best romantic cozy mystery books. And here's something I discovered. Cozy mystery fans, one thing they shared is that they enjoy romance, but only a little romance. It can't be like a romance book. I kept reading that over and over again. So a lot of the cozy mystery readers, not romance fans. I understand. So I found 5 cozy mysteries. Word on the street, the internet street, is that they are romantic. I try not to pick like the most popular series that everybody already knows about, things that have been on television, for example, like the Hallmark Movies and Mysteries channel. By the way, before I begin, I want to let you know that you could listen to any of these books on any play, and I will make a note below if you can also find them on Kindle Unlimited. The first book I want to talk to you about is The Cracked Spine by Paige Shelton. It is book 1 of a so far 8-book series called the Scottish Bookshop Mystery Series. It's set in Scotland. The 8th book is expected later this year, and apparently it's a big hit. In need of a good adventure, Delaney Nichols takes the leap and moves to Edinburgh, Scotland to start a job at The Cracked Spine. She doesn't know much about what she's gotten herself into other than that the work sounds exciting and that her new boss, Edwin McAllister, has given her the opportunity of a lifetime. Edwin has promised that she'll be working with a desk that has seen the likes of kings and queens, paupers and princes, and Delaney can't wait to get started. When she arrives, she meets her new Scottish family. Also working at The Cracked Spine are Rosie, perpetually wrapped in scarves, how cute, and who always has tiny dog Hector in tow, a 19-year-old thespian with a colored past and a bright future, and Edwin, who is just as enigmatic and mysterious as Delaney expected. An unexpected bonus is Tom the bartender from across the street with his piercing eyes and a rolling brogue, and it doesn't hurt that he looks awfully good in a kilt. Ooh. You know, I'm wondering if this is going to be a love triangle. This looks like 2 potential guys. Ooh. But before she can settle into her new life, a precious artifact, a previously undiscovered first folio of Shakespeare's plays, goes missing, and Edwin's sister is murdered, seemingly in connection to the missing folio. Delaney decides to do some sleuthing of her own to find out just what the real story is behind the priceless folio and how it's connected to the tragic death, all without getting harmed herself. This sounds like it could be really good. The next book I want to talk to you about is The Secret Book and Scone Society, which is book 1 of the series with the same name. There are 6 books in the series so far, with the 6th one expected to release later this year. From New York Times bestselling author Ellery Adams comes the first in an intriguing new series set within a quirky small-town club where the key to happiness, friendship, or solving a murder can all be found within the pages of the right book. Miracle Springs, North Carolina, oh, I love North Carolina, is a place of healing. Strangers flock here hoping the natural hot springs, 5-star cuisine, and renowned spa can cure their ills. If none of that works, they often find their way to Miracle Books, where over a fresh-baked comfort scone from the Gingerbread House Bakery, ooh, that sounds so cozy, they exchange their stories with owner Nora Pennington in return for a carefully chosen book. That's Nora's special talent, prescribing the perfect novel to ease a person's deepest pain and lighten their heaviest burden. How intriguing. When a visiting businessman reaches out to Nora for guidance, she knows exactly which novels will help, but before he can keep their appointment at Miracle Books, he's found dead on the train tracks. Stunned, Nora forms the Secret Book and Scone Society, a group of damaged souls yearning to gain trust and earn redemption by helping others. To join the society, members must divulge their darkest secret, the terrible truth that brought each of them to Miracle Springs in the first place. Wow, that sounds really deep. Determined to uncover the truth behind the businessman's demise, the women meet in Nora's cramped and cozy bookstore to share stories and trade support. As they untangle a web of corruption, they also discover their own courage, purpose, and a sisterhood that will carry them through every challenge, proving it's never too late to turn the page and start over. I love the writing and I love the premise. This sounds really interesting. My next offering is the third in a row set in a bookshop. I promise the other two are not set in a bookshop. It just worked out that way. How funny. This is Elementary She Read, book 1 in the Sherlock Holmes Bookshop Mystery Series. There are 8 books in the series so far, with the 8th being expected to be published this year. Are you seeing a theme here? But let's talk more about book 1. Gemma Doyle, a transplanted Englishwoman, has returned to the quaint town of West London on Cape Cod to manage her great Uncle Arthur's Sherlock Holmes bookshop and emporium. The shop, located at 222 Baker Street, specializes in the Holmes canon and pastiche. Pastiche? I'll have to look that one up. And is also the home of Moriarty the cat. When Gemma finds a rare and potentially valuable magazine containing the first Sherlock Holmes story hidden in the bookshop. The first Sherlock Holmes story? What? She and her friend Jane, who runs the adjoining Mrs. Hudson's tea room, ooh, a tea room, set off to find the owner, only to stumble upon a dead body. The highly perceptive Gemma is the police's first suspect. Whoa. So she puts her consummate powers of deduction to work to clear her name, investigating a handsome rare books expert, the dead woman's suspiciously unmoved son, and a whole family of greedy characters desperate to cash in on their inheritance. But when Gemma and Jane accidentally place themselves at a second murder scene, there's another one. It's a race to uncover the truth before the detectives lock them up for good. Will they get out of prison? 7 more books say they do. This looks really interesting, as do the other 2. This is going to be hard. I think this is going to be a hard try chapter challenge, and I'm excited. My 4th book for you is not a bookshop mystery. It's a noodle shop mystery. That's right, noodles. In fact, we have a 9-book noodle shop mystery series by Vivian Chien. The 9th book is due, guess when? This year. And book 1 is called Death by Dumpling. Let's get into it. Welcome to the Ho Lee Noodle House, where the Chinese food is to die for. The last place Lana Lee thought she would ever end up is back at her family's restaurant. But after a brutal breakup and a dramatic workplace walkout, she figures that a return to the Cleveland area to help wait tables is her best option for putting her life back together, even if that means having to put up with her mother, who is dead set on finding her a husband. Lana's love life soon becomes yesterday's news once the restaurant's property manager, Mr. Fang, turns up dead after a delivery of shrimp dumplings from Ho Lee. But how could this have happened when everyone on staff knew about Mr. Fang's severe, life-threatening shellfish allergy? Oh, food allergies. We have a lot of those in my house. This may not be fun for me. Now, with the whole restaurant under suspicion for murder and the local media in a feeding frenzy, to say nothing of the gorgeous police detective who keeps turning up for takeout. Gorgeous police detective turning up for takeout. It's up to Lana to find out who is behind Fang's killer order before her number is up. This sounds sort of fun. It would be more fun if I didn't have to deal with food allergies on a regular basis, but that's just me. All right, now for something very different. This is a historical cozy mystery. It's book 2 of the Countess of Harley mystery series. There are 6 books in the series, and you'll never guess when the 6th one is expected to be published. That's right, this year. But let's talk about book 2, A Lady's Guide to Gossip and Murder. On August 12th each year, the glorious 12th, the upper class retire to their country estates for grouse shooting season. American widow Frances expects a quiet few months in London with her almost engaged sister, Lily. Instead, a friend, Mary Archer, is murdered, and her cousin Charles and possible blackmail victims are suspects. Her gallant friend and neighbor George Hazelton is again her reliable sidekick. I have a feeling George Hazelton might be her love interest. Sounds very intriguing. When I think cozy mystery, I do not think historical. This is gonna be really neat. Those are the 5 books. You may know how this goes now. I'm going to read the first chapter of each over the next several days, report back to you, and then I'm going to decide which one I'm going to read and review at the end. Let the mysteries begin. Getting all cozy here with my cozy mysteries. I just finished listening to the first chapter of Death by Dumpling. Oh my, Mr. Trang, no one likes you, everyone's mad at you, you are going to die. I hate to tell you. I've seen enough Murder, She Wrote to know anyone who in the first few minutes of the show that no one likes, you're not going to make it through the next 15 minutes. And that's the case with this book. So we've got Lana Lee. She's back home. She's working at her parents' noodle shop. She's not happy about it. She's in her mid-20s. Her life's been sort of derailed and she's hoping to get back on her feet. She's working in this place called the Chinese Village. It's this little quaint area of Cleveland. And Mr. Trang really wants this place to thrive. And I think he feels like he's going to do it by hiking the rent for everyone 15%, which they are very unhappy about. So I suppose everyone that owns a shop along Chinese Village is going to be a suspect in Mr. Trang's murder. Although he's very disappointed about his family. Like, he's sad when Lana Lee comes over to give him a delivery and he's talking about his parents, which makes me even more sad for him because he's going to die. But he's fictional, so we'll just remember that. See, this is why I don't do mysteries and things like that. This is why I stick to romance. The less body count, the better in my mind. So that is what's happening in this story. I don't know that it gave me the warm fuzzies per se. It certainly has an interesting cast of characters, so I'm sure it's very entertaining. Not sure it's to my taste though.
Well, I just finished the first chapter of The Cracked Spine, which was really a feat because all three of my children are sick, and it seems like they're sick with different things, so this is going to be a lot of fun. And I'm wondering if I'm going to get sick too. Anyway, Carrington McDuffie is the narrator, and I found it to be lovely. I'm used to her with the Highlander romance, but I thought, oh my gosh, this makes sense because this book is set in Scotland. So we have our heroine. She is very bookish. She's been in archives and curating. That is absolutely her passion in life, and she takes a job in a bookshop called The Cracked Spine in Scotland, and apparently it has to do with finding and curating really rare books and documents, and so she is all about it. She's very excited, and she really hits it off with the bookshop owner Edwin, and I mean really hits it off. They have a more than hour-long conversation that just flows like she's never had before, so I think she's really excited to develop a friendship with him, but based on what I think I know so far, they're going to develop into more than friends, which is exciting. The one thing that I found odd about this book, however, is that she pauses for brief moments and people don't understand why, but apparently characters that are found within the books that she's read talk to her. And so her father refers to them as her bookish voices. Book characters talk to her in her mind, which makes me wonder what that's all about. Interesting. We'll see if this ends up being the one we pick. Well, I just read Elementary She Read. Well, actually, I listened to the first chapter. There's not a lot that goes on, honestly. We have Gemma Doyle. She's actually related to Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, which is pretty neat. She owns a bookshop that specializes in anything Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, as in Sherlock Holmes books and then things that are Sherlock Holmes related, like gifts and books. So she ends up also getting a lot of really interesting collectible memorabilia, etc. And Grant Thompson comes in at one point. He is a collector and he's quite handsome, and he seems to be a bit taken with her, but he is playing it close to the vest. There's definitely something specific he's looking for, and he's not wanting to let her know. So she's kind of intrigued by him in more ways than one because he is quite handsome and they seem to hit it off. She and her friend Jane, who owns the tea shop next door, it's quite adorable and very cozy. They share tea one afternoon and they talk about Grant as well as their plans for the following day. So not a lot going on. I actually feel like I might forget about this book like right after reading it. It just seems very bland. And I mean that in the best possible way. But like not very gripping or compelling. It's just very sweet. Oh, she has a cat named Moriarty, which I thought was really cute. Again, a throwback to Sherlock. So it's cute, but I don't know that it's super gripping. But it might be a nice light mystery read. I don't know. We'll see. I just finished the first chapter of The Secret Book and Scone Society, and it is really promising. She starts off with lines from Kafka and Virginia Woolf, so it's like, whoa, coming in hot. But we have Nora. She is a bookshop owner in Miracle Springs in North Carolina. It's a small town that people take the train to who are in search of healing. There's a spa, which of course is great for self-care. There's also the gingerbread house where people will go and get a scone made after they talk to the owner about what's bothering them, some of the memories from their past. Then the owner, actually her name is Hester, she's the baker, she makes them a one-of-a-kind scone that is meaningful to them and the tastes bring back feelings and memories, which is so intriguing. Then you have Estella, who is like the Blanche Devereaux of the Golden Girls very much. She's got the accent going and everything, but she's kind of like the floozy of the town, and she's a character. She's the one that actually tells Nora that a gentleman she spoke with died on the train tracks, and Estella seems almost gleeful about this. So she's an interesting person. She runs the spa there and gives everybody their new look, which I think makes people feel better. But maybe the most important is Nora's bookshop. People will go in there, tell her their life stories, what's going on, what they are hoping to solve about themselves or their lives. And based on that, she gives them like a stack of books that they can take and I guess buy and are supposed to solve their problems. And this is something that happened to her. So she is a bibliotherapist. I don't know if that's a real thing. I can't imagine that it is. I'm gonna have to look it up. She is a burn victim. She was in a car accident and a nurse brought her books while she was recovering in the hospital. And the books were meant to help her in her journey to healing. And so that started everything for Nora. So now she does that for other people. But she's very closed off. She isolates herself. So one day a gentleman comes in there and he's a businessman. He's in town for business and he's feeling regretful about some of the choices he's made. He makes an appointment to come in so she can do her magic with books and help him solve his problems. But unfortunately, as I mentioned, Estella reports to her that he has fallen onto the railroad track and is no longer with us. I really enjoyed hearing her prescribe books for other people, titles that I knew and thought, oh, this would be perfect for someone who's dealing with such and such. I'm really intrigued by this book and this series, so this might be the one that I wind up picking. We shall see. Well, I was just editing a video, and during the parts where I didn't need to listen to that, I was listening to the first chapter of A Lady's Guide to Gossip and Murder. And I have to tell you guys, I'm really surprised that I didn't love it more than I did. I thought I was going to love this based on the summary, but it honestly feels like I'm not reading the chapter, I'm reading what somebody is saying about what happened in the chapter, if that makes sense. It's a lot of dialogue without much else at all. I know bare bones about what anyone is even wearing, what anything looks like. There's very little description of the setting, any of it. I know that it takes place in Regency era London. There's a season that's about to get underway. Our heroine has a lot of people that she knows and she brings all of them up. If I were sitting there taking notes, I probably maybe would have enjoyed this more. You'd also maybe need to listen to it more than once, or at least I would. This author is going on and on. The only thing that was like a plot is one of her friends, her male friend, says, look, I know you tried to set me up with this gal who's your friend, but I'm not going to be able to marry her. So if you have anybody else for me, I'd love that. And then at the very end, we discover through the papers that the friend that he said he couldn't marry is actually dead. and that's a surprise to everyone. So that was interesting. But aside from that, it was a long chapter with a ton of exposition. I don't think I'll pick it after all. I really thought I might. Oh well. This is what these try a chapter challenges are all about.
Okay, it's decision time. I would be happy to probably read just about any of these, but I'm going to get nitpicky so that I can choose one. I'm gonna knock out The Cracked Spine. That one might be too quirky for me. A woman who talks to characters in her mind. So maybe not that one. Death by Dumpling, I'm also going to rule it out. That one doesn't seem super cozy to me. I feel badly for the person that's going to be murdered, so I don't know that I'm gonna have too much fun with this book. So I'm gonna knock that one out. Elementary, she read. Sounds like a great premise with lots of promise. Premise with promise. But I found myself forgetting what this first chapter was about right after I stopped reading it. I'm gonna knock that one out too. The Lady's Guide to Gossip and Murder is way too hard to follow, at least in my current season of life. There's no way with this person's writing being the way it is that I'm gonna be able to follow what's going on. So gotta knock that one out. And that means we are left with The Secret Book and Scone Society, Book 1. I'm really excited to go to Miracle Springs, North Carolina. I lived in North Carolina multiple times in my life. I love that state so much. In fact, I was on the coast. I miss it, I really do. That's why I usually read a Nicholas Sparks book, because they're generally set where I grew up. And yeah, love that. So I'm heading back to North Carolina, but in my mind, the next time you see me, I'll be able to tell you all about this book. I will not give away who the killer is, or killers. I'm not really sure. I haven't read it yet, so we'll see. Okay, well, I just finished the book. I enjoyed it. It wasn't as cozy as I was hoping for, and honestly, I shouldn't be surprised because it was very clearly stated that these characters all have really painful backstories. And so a lot of this book was spent going through everybody's pain. I'm talking to everybody, and I found that interesting too. The author has a sense of empathy for everyone. The victims, the main characters, the bad guys, they've all got painful stories to share. The four gals, Estella, Hester, Nora, who's our main character, and June, they're loners, but they start to heal together, which was really powerful. And I loved that. There's tons of yummy food in the book, which is probably the coziest part. I have 5 words for you, ladies and gentlemen. Fried green tomato grilled cheese. I need that in my life. I've never had it. I hope it's a real thing. I'm gonna look for it. It sounds incredible. The mystery was very interesting. I enjoyed watching that unfold. The love interest, Jed, he is a paramedic and he is very dreamy. It's actually spicier than I thought it would be. I don't want to missell this though. It's hardly spicy, but it was a little spicy, which I didn't expect. I thought maybe it would be a little cute, but it was a little spicy. Okay. I can see the two of them really having more fun later in the series. The thing though was that Nora and her friends all try to use Jed, which I really didn't appreciate. They even try to get him drunk at one point because they're trying to get information out of him that he does not want to divulge because it could impact his job. He's not allowed to talk about what he finds on site as a paramedic. And they keep trying to get him to talk, which I found to be less than sweet. So that kind of bothered me. Overall, their relationship was really cute. I gave this book 3 stars. I had a good time. I would read more books in the series. But yeah, it wasn't as cozy as I hoped. It wasn't as sweet as I hoped. I wish that Nora had been a little bit better to Jed. All in all, I had a good time. So yeah, join me next month for my try a chapter challenge of young adult romance. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're enjoying whatever it is that you're reading, whether it's a cozy mystery or not. Until next time, thanks so much. Take care. Bye.